figure this out. Oh, I did it. I changed the scene. There we go. So good. Okay, here we go. I will click on your camera. Oh, I just guessed the... I don't know, everything's going right. Our first player in the bottom right, representing Berlin International Gamers, BIG. It is the German Protoss player, ShoWTimE.
And his opponent, spawning up in the top left, representing Blazer, it is Krystianer in the red.
So, you hinted at it before, in that Krystianer is going to be the unpredictable of the two. ShoWTimE, I mean, he has the nickname Demour the Wall for a reason. We can almost certainly expect him to be the defender in this series. He is not going to try and control the pace of the game in terms of proxy and things like that. It isn't something he's never done, but it's not something he does every series. Whereas Krystianer, I think, probably realizes that he has to be aggressive in this. He can't let this go mid to late game, because that's where ShoWTimE is the best Protoss in Europe. Or one of, depending on the day of the week, I suppose. So hopefully we're going to see some very interesting, aggressive stuff. We saw some pretty wild stuff coming out of the Hong Kong, Taiwan region earlier with Haas. No, it wasn't Haas. It was Nice, wasn't it? Was it Haas? Am I going insane?
Yeah, Haas versus Nice. Yeah,
it was Haas. Just proxying Stargates literally like in his opponent's natural. Doing Haas things. I don't think Krystianer's going to get quite that wild, but I certainly think he should be aggressive. So far, though, both of his pylons have stayed at home.
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing anything akin to what we saw out of Haas just yet. I feel like Krystianer is a big fan of more mid-game oriented timings off of 2 bases and even 3 bases. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Glaive Adept timings thrown on in, but what would surprise me is entirely standard play. And so far we are seeing a Stalker Sentry out of both players. What do you make of that?
Standard, right? It's going to allow scouting. You've spent a lot of gas, so you can't do anything really early. If you go Stalker Sentry, you can typically guess that your opponent hasn't proxied a Stargate or a Robo because they've spent so much gas, 75 there on that Sentry. Double Adept as a follow-up here for Krystianer is more what I expected. So he's going to open standard. His opponent is going to see that with the pylon he drops. And now these Adepts can cause a little bit of discomfort if they come in at a slightly wonky time. You're not paying attention. You're focusing elsewhere. But it feels like Krystianer is going to play at least 2 base this game, which I am surprised by. I guess maybe he wants to feel his opponent out. Krystianer isn't... I know we talked about how he needs to take control and he needs to be the aggressor. He's still very, very capable of playing a mid and late game PvP. He's one of the best Protosses in Europe because he's able to do all of these different matchups. But this is still scary. Like, I really feel like something has to happen. No tech from either yet, which is kind of crazy. Usually if tech is very late, it is a Twilight Council. Stargate could still come down as a Twilight for Krystianer. Stargate could still end up coming up here from ShoWTimE, but I imagine he's going Twilight as well at this point.
Yeah, once he scouts this, he should probably just go for a Twilight and a Forge. Now, I want to point something out that's really, really nice from ShoWTimE. Even though he didn't see these Adepts, he still keeps the probe on patrol. Most players, they don't leave a probe on patrol unless they see the first 2 Adepts coming across the map. They see that. ShoWTimE didn't see that, and he still reacted perfectly timed. Now, 4 Adepts, this is enough to pick off sentries.
Yeah.
And this could be a little bit dodgy right here for ShoWTimE, but...
He doesn't.
Krystianer is going to commit. Oh, look at that beautiful Guardian Shield pop right there. This could mean it takes 1 extra shot to pick off those sentries, and instead of losing all 3, he loses 2.
If he had got 3, I wouldn't have hated this, but he is only going to get the 2, as you said. Does manage to save 2 of the Adepts, so I actually don't hate this, to be honest with you. That's a lot of gas right now. 200 gas gone down the toilet here for ShoWTimE, which isn't great by any means. Some of that, I think, is from Cancel, actually. Dark Shrine for Krystianer. Now, this is what I'm talking about.
Yep. I think that is what we were expecting. The kind of thing, the kind of shenanigans coming on in here. And this could work extremely well, especially since ShoWTimE is going to see the Forge and Twilight Council of his opponent. next time he comes in for Hallucination Scout. The other thing that's beautiful is picking off those 2 sentries really reduces the number of potential scouts that are available. Now, we are going to be seeing the scout come in. We'll see the timing of the robotics facility. Krystianer, he's going to chrono boost out this War Prism, and I would love to see him drop 4 DTs right on that robotics facility and just try and kill it.
Kill it. I don't.
Just YOLO, just absolutely all in on that.
Does that second pylon, the one to the north of the robo, power it? I don't know. It's close. It would be on. I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
It's right on the edge, but I think you're right. I think it is 1 hex away from being powered.
In which case,
would mean
there's
that
1 pylon.
It could actually come down to whether or not this is the Artosis pylon.
Yeah.
There's going to be an observer chronoed out. Observers do build very, very quickly, though. I think that's going to be out in time, yeah.
Yeah, especially with this coming in right now. This observer is going to get out. Now, there's only 1 observer. There's a whole bunch of DTs. The third, I think, will be cancelled. He's going to...
ShoWTimE sees the shimmer, by the way.
Yeah. I think he just goes down and cancels this with 4 DTs. Oh, prison? Okay. Kill some workers. Just get them. They're there.
Oh, battery overcharge actually being used to keep the Nexus alive. There is a DT in the natural, and it's going to go to work. It's actually picking off 9 probes.
Oh, and the main.
And the one in the main lost track of.
Okay, this is enough now. This is a damage.
Absolutely. This is tremendous damage. If it wasn't for that battery overcharge, by the way, being popped on the 3rd base, that would have been a dead 3rd Nexus.
Yeah, I agree with you.
ShoWTimE.
Now, he's going to get more. He could have got a second there. 16, though, steadfast. An incredible start here, and that's what Krystianer's going to do. Now, oh my god.
It's 15 kills on it, 16 kills. Wow. Oh.
That's filthy. Now, ShoWTimE has +1, and he has a big army. But at this point, is he forced to go all in? I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I feel like maybe he is forced to go. He's remaking probes 3 at a time, which is nice. But Krystianer, oh my god, so many gateways. Blink on the way. His +1 will be done. He's not going to die to any counter pressure. His 3rd base is done and looking almost fully saturated. His blink is halfway done. So he'll have that. He'll be completely caught up in upgrades, plus that DT damage. One bad thing, his robo is not at home to produce immortals. But this is pretty darn good start.
Oh, yeah, this is a fantastic start out of Krystianer. And honestly, I'd love to see him just go up in... Basically, once his blink completes, take a 4th base, get up into mass charge, maybe add on a Templar Archives. Oh, he's actually going to take the 4th base before this. Yeah, just get a ton of gateways, mass charge, and just lean on your opponent. Ooh, yeah, this is nice from ShoWTimE. He's going to sneak into the natural expansion. Going to be able to pick off 3 probes right here. Meanwhile, I think the double adept on the 3rd base...
It's been dealt with.
It's
4 probes.
Get mostly cleaned up.
Yeah, 4 probes is okay for Krystianer. For ShoWTimE to kill there, he would have wanted more. He lost 2 adepts for the 4 probes, so it's actually a pretty even trade, minus the gas. But the Templar Archives, as you said, for Krystianer finishing up here, his gateway count is getting really, really high. In fact, it's moving up to, he's going to be up at 8 gateways, soon to be 9 gateways against the 4 of his opponent. I mean, we're going to see Krystianer just go, I think. You know, went ahead, get more ahead. He's done that, and then went ahead, just go and kill him. I think that's what Taste just once said. I'm pretty sure that was the saying. I mean, with reinforcements coming in here, I really don't think this is going to be too much of a problem for Krystianer. The force fields, though, were bloody brilliant by ShoWTimE.
Yeah, really nice. Excellent usage of his opponent's pylon to actually break up that concave and get a nice little trade for a decent bit of time. But Krystianer, much faster, +2. He's adding on an 11th and 12th gateway. That's going to bring him up to 12 gateways. Whereas ShoWTimE, he's getting up to just now his 7th.
8, maybe?
That's an 8th on the way.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, charge is done quicker here for ShoWTimE, who still has a decent army, but +2 is done now for Krystianer. If I'm Krystianer, I am waiting for charge. Oh my god, he starts +3 so fast, and I'm going. This is such a scary army. This is so Krystianer, just a big ground army that's going to absolutely murder you. This base is going to be the focal point here of ShoWTimE's attacks, and as we said, he does have charge. Force fields, once again, just amazing. That Archon needs to get there to break them, but the Zealots are actually in the way. The Zealots are just body blocking the Archon from getting in.
Oh man, that's actually really, really bad right there for Krystianer. And ShoWTimE, D-Mauer, setting up that force field wall. The man makes the legend, and he's going to be able to micro back here. We do have charge completing and that will help a ton. But ShoWTimE has his own War Prism. Very bold blink forward from Krystianer, but has ShoWTimE done enough damage to his opponent's army? That's a lot of charge loss. Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, and the Prism will go down too here. That's another big loss here. Krystianer still has the supply lead. He's up in army supply. His upgrades, as we said, are ahead. His +3 is already a third of the way done. It hasn't even started yet for ShoWTimE, so that window of opportunity is going to be phenomenally large here for Krystianer. He's getting on a bunch of Archons. I really like the way Krystianer has played this game. He did something that he's known to do, which is to do something cheeky, something a little bit off the cuff with that proxy Dark Shrine, and now he's just been able to move into a very strong, solid game. There's no batteries done yet on this base. These Archons are soaking up so much Stalker fire. Finally, they'll begin to fall, but look how many Stalkers fall down for ShoWTimE. Is this the day of upset, Steadfast? Because right now, Krystianer is about to take map 1 from ShoWTimE.
It is absolutely looking like the day of upsets indeed. And I gotta say, I am on board for it, because that means we've got some entertaining StarCraft here on the B stream. Things are gonna get funky, they're gonna get weird, and they are gonna get fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're already in that period of funky and fun. We've had a great best of 3 before this between Mana and Gung Fu Banda, and now ShoWTimE Krystianer shaping up to be a bit of a barn burner itself. ShoWTimE trailing in this series 1-0. Krystianer with DTs, I mean, he played them so well. He was scouted. There was an observer out. He wasn't scouted, but it was identified what he was doing at a good time. ShoWTimE shouldn't have taken as much damage as he did. I don't know if you agree with that. I think ShoWTimE, upon seeing the shimmers and seeing what was going on, especially down at the natural with that one that just went north and hid and got like another 7 or 8 kills. 7 or 8 more probes there is not dying. It's probably 5 or 6 more Stalkers at that stage in the game, which probably would have helped ShoWTimE hold. We're looking at a different game if that doesn't happen. Of course, you know, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, so no one really knows. It's all just ifs and buts and coconuts. But it's a best of 3, not a best of 1 for a reason. We'll go into map 2 now. Oxide, and ShoWTimE needs to sort it out.
That he is, but what a cool build. What an incredibly cool build right there out of the Polish Protoss player. Like, just absolutely coming in with something you've never seen before. And it worked out really, really well. I'm very impressed by what we just saw.
Krystianer asking for 1 minute. It's probably very nerve-wracking to be up 1-0 against the player who is considered by many to be the best Protoss in Europe. Krystianer is still very young. He's still really not hit the peak of his career just yet. Seems like every time we do these events, he climbs just that little bit more. He plays that little bit better against these top players. And if he beats ShoWTimE here, he puts himself in a really good spot going forward. He is already 1-1. ShoWTimE, that was ShoWTimE's first map loss, by the way. This event, he was 2-0-4-0. Wow. ShoWTimE had so far beaten sort of 2-0 and Cust 2-0. So 2 of the opponents that maybe we would anticipate ShoWTimE winning 2-0 against, but he's not there now. Great first map. I really love what he did, but how deep is his bag of tricks? Because he's going to have another one. He's going to have another 2 probably.
Yes, absolutely. But if he does, all of a sudden, he puts himself at 2 set wins. 2 set wins? Match wins? 2 match wins. And still gets to play Koss, who is not an easy opponent, but is definitely one of the weaker opponents in this group. He gets to play Sort of, who is same deal, definitely beatable. And, you know, if he wins both of those, he's at minimum 4-3, which almost always is going to be the threshold of whether or not you make it through. So this is a really, really big next map and potentially next 2 maps for Krystianer to really have a breakout performance in his career.
I'm right there with you, and I like to see it. I saw someone in chat earlier saying for years and years, we had Mana, we had Hearthstone, we had ShoWTimE. Those were our Protoss players. But now we've got Goblin, we've got Paximus Maximus, who we will be seeing after the series. We've got Krystianer, we've got Strange on the rise. The Protoss scene in Europe is probably the strongest it's ever been, and I'm all for it as we load here into Oxide, Steadfast. I'm gonna find your camera once again. Oh, I guessed the first one and guessed again. I don't know. I'm just talented, I guess, at guessing what number you are in the lobby. Because our first player in the top right here, representing Blazer, he is the Polish Protoss player. He leads ShoWTimE 1-0. It's Krystianer.
And his opponent getting a little bit stunned right there in game number 1. Representing big, it is ShoWTimE.
Okay.
Now it is going to be Oxide, and you and I both know, and I'm sure many of you at home know, this is a universal map where you just go gate expand. You go low ground. Usually you'll go low ground gate, cybernetics core, double gas, tech building, and then expand.
Yeah.
But there are some crazy players who will go like Nexus first, or they'll go gate Nexus, or any variation of such.
Someone just told me to fix the title. The title's right, isn't it? Yeah, the title's right. Krystianer versus ShoWTimE Group A. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, refresh. Yeah, I agree with you. So we're going to see Cybercore coming out here for both of these players, and then we'll probably see a Nexus following up, or before too long here. Zealots coming out for both as well, because the universal response to this is to drop a pylon to slow down the Nexus. If you don't do that, then your opponent can get their Nexus that bit quicker. So we should be seeing those go down. There's one being dropped down here on ShoWTimE side of the map, and ShoWTimE should return the favor before too long. His opponent's side of the map, here we go. He's actually going to do it, right? Yeah, okay. He blocks. No. Damn. Ooh, Stargate. Oh my god, ShoWTimE. Just, wow, he's really not going to block. That's odd to me.
Yeah. Well, there's this weird thing that you can do when your opponent blocks. You can kind of just choose not to, because you know that your opponent, if you've seen that they've gone double gas, their chances are not going to be getting a very, very quick Nexus. They want to spend that money into tech. So you just save the money on the pylon and you're like, okay. Ooh, yeah. I would have really liked to have seen Krystianer just one-tap that probe right there. Instead, now the Stalker has to go all the way back into the main base.
Yeah, he still will get it. The Stalker is obviously not out on the map, and this does allow a pretty big scout here of that Twilight Council. If he'd have got it, Krystianer would have had the benefit of playing completely unscouted, but it's a Twilight Council, and that can still mean a lot of things, especially when you're playing against Krystianer here. That can mean a Dark Shrine, that can mean a Robo follow-up, that can mean Quick Blink, that can be even Glaze, a full wall.
Yeah, this is going to be a crazily committed all-in.
Is this 4-gate Blink with a Robo? Yeah.
It sure is. No Robo, he's just going to proxy a pylon. This is going to be 4-gate Blink.
What about high ground vision? Just using a hallucination, I guess? He doesn't have a sentry.
Well, he's not going to have a sentry. Yeah, he's just going to have a tough time is what he's going to have. And the Oracle, oh man, great decision making right there from ShoWTimE.
Yeah, that stutter stepping with the Oracle as well, just making the most of the energy. Super, super cute here, using that APM. Now we do see this pylon has gone down still unseen, and that's going to be a little bit scary. It is a pretty predictable spot to throw down that pylon. ShoWTimE is now beginning to move out in terms of tech. Okay, wow.
Oh no! Oh. Just as the Adept shows up.
It's just one, okay.
Oh, ShoWTimE. Okay, well, never mind. I was like, he can get into the main base and get so many probes, but there's a shield battery anyway, so he wouldn't have been able to. It was just completely underwhelming. 2 pylons, what?
Is he going to proxy a bunch of batteries? There's no way, right?
I mean, he could, but I'll be honest.
Oh my god, you can, and you can blink backwards across the ravine, right?
Yeah, you can. It's a very tight angle though. There's
only
it's
not easy.
A small number. Oh, and the stasis ward.
Big
nice
vision there.
Move right there from ShoWTimE.
Now blink is done, and that's going to allow these stalkers to blink out pretty quickly. You can see the oracles now coming forward. They're going to see that there's 2 pylons here. 2 pylons here is pretty weird without any kind of backup. No gateway, of course, isn't speeding them up for quicker warp ins. We're seeing ShoWTimE add on just a bunch of voids, a bunch of gateways, getting very defensive because there is no Nexus down here for our Polish Protoss player. Krystianer is on a timer. He has to break his opponent down, and he has to do it soon. 2 void rays, they make it very tricky. These oracles will get out, and that's warp-ins now that are not where they want to be. They are not in an aggressive stance. They're not going to be looking for damage. There comes a sentry for high ground blinking, most likely, but that's a long way off.
Yeah, this feels like Krystianer wants... Okay, never mind. He is going to move forward on these Void Rays. And, well, it's ShoWTimE. He can just buy time. He doesn't want to lose that Stargate, that's for sure. But with the high ground vision, this is just so, honestly, impossible to break through, even with the Blink Micro. He's doing an exceptionally good job, and he actually will take down this Stargate, potentially. You might even need to see a battery overcharge. Yeah, there it is. It is going to be it. And it will heal up that, that Stargate. ShoWTimE was a little bit shy about using this prismatic alignment.
Agreed.
Which I guess I'm okay with, but... Well, actually, no buts. I'm just okay with that. The more time that passes, the better off things are for him.
Oh, the Oracles. Nice revelation there.
Reaction time. Yeah, that's so huge. And now we see a blink into the main base. There's 5 gateways here. Yeah,
and with no batteries here as well, there's a lot of Zealots that can offer a lot of DPS, a lot of coverage. But Void Rays begin to fall here. And with the reinforcements coming in, ShoWTimE can't commit too much. That was good for Krystianer. That was the kind of thing he needed. If he can get down now and finish off this Stargate, that would be absolutely amazing. He's going to start working away at it. Shield battery overcharge will not be back up yet, but it'll be pretty darn close. The Stargate will fall. That opens up the wall. That also means no more Void Rays coming in. So it's now Stalkers, Zealots, and 2 Void Rays, excuse me, against everything Krystianer can throw. But Krystianer is on a bit of a timer, as we said. He does not have a Nexus. He will not be building a Nexus. He has to break the walls down now. These Zealots are so frustrating, even without charge. They are going to start to fall down just a little bit. But I feel like ShoWTimE might just be doing enough here.
Absolutely. The Zealots are really confusing the target fire of Krystianer. He can't dive in on those Void Rays as long as they're positioned well. And every time the Void Rays can just fire, even without their thick beams, the thin beams still do so much damage for Stalkers. And I think that's going to be too much maybe at this point. It is still even army supply.
It's close.
Oh man, 7 Zealots went down, but also 7 Stalkers. I'm always trading 7 Zealots for 7 Stalkers. Meanwhile, look at the main base.
Is he just F2'd? Oh, I think he has. He just F2'd in order to get a sentry in the right place. And now we're going to see another blink up into the main here. The Void Rays, if they go down quickly, one gets one shot. There's not enough to one shot the second one. With battery overcharge, it hangs on just a little bit longer. It eventually goes down. That means no more Void Rays. But Immortals are already there to take the place. And we're going to see once again Krystianer take that quick route using his blink to get round. Maybe try and take down a pylon here. Or the battery would probably be a smarter target. The battery is offering just so much here. It does look like Krystianer is running out of time. He's losing workers at home. GG! ShoWTimE takes us to map 3.
Very well done right there from ShoWTimE. A very interesting approach. So Max Pax, when he goes up against that kind of thing, he doesn't get Warp Gate. He goes Cannon Shield Battery. But ShoWTimE says, no. I do it a different way. I'm gonna do it my own way, and I'm gonna go mass gateway units and just take advantage of the fact that, like you said, those Zealots tank so much damage.
Yeah, they did a really, really good job. And it's unusual to see that many non-charged Zealots warped in, but they allowed the Stalkers and the Void Rays to do what they needed. They had battery support too, so they lived even longer than they naturally would. And with that, we move to map 3, which will be Lightshade. Krystianer with a great DT drop in map 1 to pick up the win. ShoWTimE handles the pressure in map 2. I think Krystianer, I don't think 1 base is the play. I think a 2 base, like either like a proxy Stargate maybe, or you go full 1 base and you proxy a Stargate and batteries and you just be a nightmare. Because it does feel like Krystianer is strategically thinking very well. The build he's come up with, especially in map 1, it was very creative. It was unusual. It did a lot of damage. He handled the DTs incredibly. But he needs a plan here on Lightshade.
Yes, he certainly does. He needs something crazy again, and I wonder if we'll see him bust out something like a Cannon Rush.
Oh, please.
Oh, that would make me so happy. I'm going to be really disappointed if we don't get any Cannon Rushes today. I think Max might deliver, but we'll have to see. Honestly, even Strange could. I think he is less likely to, but I think there's a chance. Either way, I'm excited, and oh man, that would make me so happy if Krystianer busted that out.
Yeah, me too. Mainly because, for those of you who don't know, we kind of have a dynamic. Steadfast is the brains. I'm the silly and the talk fast. But when there's a Cannon Rush, oh, I'm an expert. Because I'm a keen Cannon Rusher myself. Shout out to Grim Reaper. So if we get something like that, it would be cool. The players are now ready. We are counting down to get into Lightshade for our final map here between Krystianer and ShoWTimE. It has been so far a day with an interesting upset as Gunfu Banda was able to 2-0 mana. Will we see a repeat and maybe even a three-peat afterwards for our next PvP? We're going to find out because we're loading into Lightshade.
That we are. PvP on Lightshade. There's no low ground ramp. Yeah. I really hope we see some crazy shenanigans.
Me too, Steadfast, because our first player in the bottom right, he is Demour, playing for Berlin International Gamers, BIG. The Blue Protoss player from Germany, it's ShoWTimE.
And his opponent, spawning up in the top left, representing Blazer, it is the Polish Protoss player, Krystianer. Winning game one with that crazy proxy DT plus robo play that got, what, like, it was like over 20 worker kills at the end of
25, I think. It was insane.
It was insane.
No forge,
Absolutely
friend.
Insane.
No forge. So, we are going to have a pretty standard opening here on Lightshade. Neither player has dropped a forge. Of course, we don't anticipate that from ShoWTimE. But Krystianer, you know, he's going to be the player reaching into his bag of tricks to try and figure something out. Double gas openings as standard by both. Second gateways will be going down. Cybernetics cores will be going down. And our first big what-if point in the game is what comes out of those gateways and where the second pylon goes.
Yeah, exactly. We did see already in the previous series between Mana and Gung Fu Banda. Mana hid his second pylon. Unfortunately for him, he didn't really get anything out of it, per se. It didn't put him in a situation where he won the game. Look. Okay, no, never mind. Don't look at this. I was like, wait a minute. For a second, I saw 2 gateways on the production tab versus 1. And I was like, wait a minute.
It's just a millisecond.
It was just the smallest period of time. We are going to be seeing a hidden second pylon.
That's a weird spot too.
That's a really weird spot. This does make me think maybe proxy Stargate, but I think it's actually just... No, this is just going to be a fake second pylon.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, the second pylon, of course, the not at home means ShoWTimE right now is thinking, oh lord, oh no, what if it's the same thing as map 1? And he has to prepare for that. Stalker Sentry coming out from Krystianer as well, meaning he's going to get a lot of vision early on. He's going to drop that pylon on the low ground too. He wants to make sure that this probe is kept nice and safe if a couple of adepts were to waddle their way across, or the probe itself were to be annoying here. But this is, for Krystianer, a nice little mind game. ShoWTimE doing as we expect from ShoWTimE, keeping everything in the correct place. He is going to go for a scout here. He's probably going to check this location, see he doesn't go all the way over. Or does he? Keep following the path, Steadfast. No, by the looks of it, he didn't.
Broke it.
He broke it, yeah. Oh, he's going somewhere else, though. Dun, 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 dun. He's going to see it. Or is he?
Brilliant. Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah. Wow, that's a big scout. Of course, it doesn't really give anything away. Oh, I mean, of course, it isn't the end of anything for Krystianer. It's not like he's doing a proxy Stargate and he's been scouted. This was just a hidden pylon. It will be picked off at some point, probably relatively early on. Krystianer might even choose to go out and defend it. Because there are units on the map for ShoWTimE already. But the Nexus will go down for ShoWTimE now, that little bit behind his opponent, as he did want to play that little bit safer, and we'll be moving into a pretty normal mid-game. But it's what happens next, what Krystianer does next, that is going to be the real contentious point of this game.
Yeah, by the way, Krystianer did see the whole hit squad of 4 Stalkers moving on out. He does have a shield battery for safety. He's got to be a little bit careful, though. He does, now that he's got these 3 Stalkers, ShoWTimE, it's actually his turn to be a little bit careful. Ooh. And he actually gets force fielded. Nice move from Krystianer. Picks off a Stalker. Yeah,
that's one less unit. And if Krystianer is going to be aggressive, and of course we don't really know yet, as the Twilight Council is the only tech down, no forge just yet. If he is going to be aggressive, and that's one more thing, or one less Stalker for him to deal with. I do think it's probably just going to be Blink here, to be honest with you. I don't think we're seeing anything crazy. I'm interested, of course, as to what the follow-up is going to be, as that Twilight Council has now finished. Blink starts up for ShoWTimE. That pylon will get taken out, unfortunately. Blink starts up for Krystianer.
So this is a little bit interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we need to see a recall. Okay, it will be at the natural. Shield battery is going to get target fired down. Will get killed off, but nice force fields right there. Going to catch one of the Stalkers. The force fields, Krystianer, his sentries were kind of aggroed on the hallucination, chases that for a while, but he gets some nice force fields in return. But I think these sentries are just a little bit too late, and Krystianer, he's going to get held.
He's going to get held, but he's killing quite a lot here, actually. If you could get a couple more sentries on the way out, this would be nice. Let's take a look at the battle report here. We could see it was, okay, ShoWTimE managed to kill a few extra sentries, which was nice. So it did end up in ShoWTimE's favor. But it wasn't the end of the world. Those sentries would have been nice for, of course, force fields and also hallucinations. But as long as there's at least one on the map, which there isn't actually here for Krystianer, he'd be able to retain map control. His forge, though, is what concerns me, because it's a lot later, Steadfast. Like, it's not even done yet, and we're already 25% through the upgrade here for ShoWTimE. And if ShoWTimE gets ahead in upgrades and continues to play in the way we expect him to, which is defensive and solidly, it's going to be very hard for Krystianer to break.
It really is. Now, this is a nice little scout here for Krystianer.
Nice.
He wanted to get more damage done than that. He wanted to get a lot of damage done. I will say, Krystianer's third Nexus, very, very fast. And his +1, he does start it up immediately. So, I mean, he's still going to be very mindful of a pretty large timing from, potentially large timing. Like, maybe 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe even potentially a little bit more, depending on Chrono Boost usage. But he's up 4 workers. And, you know, he's got his Blink finishing up at a similar timing. He's getting a robotics facility. This is better for Krystianer than I expected it to be in a macro game. Especially considering the fact that he kind of sacked those sentries.
That's my only concern right now, is he is still playing blind. Like, right now in terms of vision, he has those 2 adepts on the map that are kind of not really playing the vision game as much as they're there they are there to see a move out, of course, but also if he can get into the natural mineral line, he could do a lot of damage, which would be nice. We do have a push out coming down here in the south side of the map. It's going to get a pylon cancelled and a probe killed. Pretty nice, but with Guardian Shield up, Krystianer's not going to want to commit to an attack here. He is getting charged that little bit quicker than his opponent. His robo is done. Both players' robos are done. +1 will now finish for ShoWTimE, and that should mean a pretty hefty disengage here from Krystianer, who just couldn't get the fight he needed at the natural. He's killing a few probes now. 3 more go down, and actually with the reinforcements coming in, he's going to force his opponent to retreat here.
Oh my, he's up 17 workers right now, and up army supply. Krystianer, what? How did he just happen? I actually just like blinked and Krystianer had a 20 supply lead.
What just happened?
Krystianer just suddenly ran away with this game. I don't know if ShoWTimE hasn't been building probes or what's been happening, but Krystianer,
he's making
he
so many
is looking so good suddenly. And yeah, we're seeing echoes of game number 1 right now, where he just gets to that gateway count so much faster than his opponent.
Yeah. And his upgrades, as we said, have caught up. Neither player has started +2. His charge is miles ahead. And with charge, he's going to have control over the Stalkers here. Now, the Stalker count does favor the blue Protoss player from Germany. He does have a few more for now. But now there's an Immortal out. That levels the playing field. And that's going to force ShoWTimE to retreat a little here. In terms of production, those gateways are finished. Charge is done. If Krystianer wants to go for an attack, he has a window of opportunity. His +2 is quicker as well now, as long as he keeps that one moving. Chrono being dumped into that. He's getting a prism. I think Krystianer's looking for a push here, and if he can find it, this could end up going really, really well. Oh, that's a big snipe on the pylon powering that overcharged battery, though.
That it is. Oh, Krystianer looked for the warp behind the high grass. Wow, that's actually really, really big that didn't get picked off. Really huge.
Okay.
Oh, man. I don't know. ShoWTimE's going to try and push on in here.
I don't know if I like it. Not with the Immortal here. And charge done, it's scary. He is going to bleed out Stalkers. Even if you blink away, charge zealots will catch up. They'll close that distance. They live forever. They're very tanky naturally units. They don't do a lot of damage, but with Stalker support, they're able to take down Stalkers. And now Archons are joining the fray. There is still a supply lead for Krystianer. The upgrade lead, though. +2 hasn't started yet for ShoWTimE. Halfway done for Krystianer. That is a glaring, massive mistake, I'd say, for ShoWTimE, because he's had the money, like, for a while.
Yeah, that's really I feel like ShoWTimE. So he went up to 6 gates before his opponent got up to, or while Krystianer was building his extra 4. Yeah. So this kind of felt like a pseudo all-in. Now this is a weird situation. Krystianer did not see this army coming up in, and ShoWTimE, he might be able to actually just kill this.
He's gonna get the space.
Yeah, but charge lots.
But at what cost? He's going to be able to blink up into the main, which will be nice here. But if he, okay, no, this is going to work because he can. Oh god, he's going to blink down into the third as well. Recall instead, so he's going to lose a bunch of stalkers here. But that is a huge pickup. Now, does Krystianer flick the go button and just try and kill his opponent right now? It wouldn't be a bad idea because his +2 is done, or 8, 7, 6 done. And he has a supply lead. He's got a massive army, an upgrades advantage compared to an opponent who hasn't even started +2 yet. I really think it's time to go for Krystianer.
Oh, 100%. This is his moment, and he's got Archon tech, and his opponent does not. Oh, no,
he does.
ShoWTimE has 2, but he's about to have 4 versus 2, and that is a big deal right there. We're actually seeing +1 armor of all things, and now, this is going to turn into a base trade. This is probably the best situation for ShoWTimE.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is really, really smart. Now, both players are going to absolutely nuke one another back to the Stone Age. We can see here that they're going to lose a lot of workers, and it's the player who can save the most workers will feel really, really good about this. We can see ShoWTimE is losing nearly all of them, whereas Krystianer's managed to keep a lot alive. And not only are they going to be useful for when a base is re-established, but they can be a fighting force if needs be if we get to the nitty-gritty, scrappy part of the game, which we so clearly are already at. As I said, both players losing all of their tech. These probes are so important for ShoWTimE that he has managed to save. Krystianer returns a favor. We're just swapping sides of the map right now, ladies and gentlemen, and this is gonna get weird.
Ooh, I really would have liked to have seen Krystianer cancel these gateways. That's, well, not 300 minerals, but it's like, I don't know, what, 275, 225 he could have just gotten back.
You do the math, I'm not gonna do it.
That would have been really big. Ooh, we do see Krystianer warping in 2 more High Templar for another Archon. That will give him a 5-3 Archon lead, which is pretty big. Oh, recall towards this base on the top side.
Save it. That's so big to save that base, because that now means he's going to have that 2 base. He even has his main Nexus alive. It's going to get cleaned up eventually. The Templar Archives being alive could end up being important. ShoWTimE actually has a little bit of gas, but what he doesn't have is any bloody gateways. So, does he have any gateways? No. ShoWTimE's buildings right now are 3 pylons and a Templar Archives. And the Nexus that he has got going down in the bottom left.
Finished, yeah.
Yeah.
This is looking very good right now for Krystianer. But I still think that was the right call out of ShoWTimE. The problem is, +2 versus +1. Even armies.
Here comes the fight.
Oh man, he's gonna catch the army. He saw ShoWTimE's army with his observer. That is so bad for ShoWTimE. But I think he only loses, what, couple zealots,
yeah. The choke point absolutely saving the day right there. We can see that there are still a couple of zealots up in the main. They're actually going to be dealt with by a few zealots of Krystianer, and if Krystianer can kill a couple of zealots and not lose any of his own, he'll be feeling very happy. This observer that ShoWTimE has on the map right now is providing so much information. Both players do have an observer, and yeah, they're both scouting out one another's bases, so important read there for both of our players to figure out what is going on.
Where is ShoWTimE's observer? Oh man, look at this. That is so funny right here. And this is very tense right now. ShoWTimE is in a lot of trouble right here. Big blink forward comes on in. Will pick off a stalker.
There's no batteries, of course, or anything, because there is no cybernetics squad. There are no gateways even done yet. This is a good funnel, a good choke point, though. We see Guardian Shield come down, and it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. The Archons are not in the fight right now for Krystianer. They're all just dancing on the ramp. Now, finally, they're going to be able to enter the fray a little bit, but there's so many Zealots doing a good job. Guardian Shields are in favor of Krystianer. In terms of army supply, dead even. Krystianer a little bit behind. No, even once again, but the upgrade steadfast. They're going to, the longer this fight goes, the more effective they will be. The Immortal in the back is dishing out so much damage. We're going to dance in and out with this prism now with our shield batteries. These Archons are just spraying down damage onto the Stalkers. Probes coming off the line. These are the last remaining probes of our German hero. It does look like maybe, just maybe, ShoWTimE will hold, but at what cost? Because he's going to have no probes left, next to no units left, and even then, I don't even know if he's going to be able to hold. The prism needs to work double time, overtime, triple time. Oh, that Archon gets saved. Jesus, that was close. But I don't know. Oh, if he gets the prism, okay.
And now he's actually up. He's actually up a lot of army supply. He got these 3 gateways.
Oh my
gosh. He warped in 3 zealots into the fight, and then another 3 just now. Well, look at the army supply. That's 12 army supply right now. That is a huge, huge difference. We have Krystianer repowering 5 gateways right here. Is that going to be enough, though? One of them gets depowered. Another one will get depowered. The other 3, they just barely get the warp-ins.
Yeah, the warp-ins coming in here really important. It's time for Krystianer. It's now or never for the hold. If he can get that Archon down, it still hasn't recharged his shields, meaning it will die very, very quickly. The Stalker's taken down the Zealots. The Stalker's going to be forced to blink back. I don't think Krystianer has enough here, Steadfast. Somehow, some way, ShoWTimE is clawed. He has scratched. He has fought his way back into this game. And now, I think he's going to win.
It is looking really good for him. Krystianer rushed that engagement so much, so unnecessarily. But ShoWTimE has 0 workers, 0 minerals. He can't make any more to win just with this army.
Yeah, we see a recall coming in here. Probes are going to have to fight. The Archon has regained so much of its health right now. And you don't want to pull probes into an Archon at any point, like, ever in your life. If I give you one piece of advice today, the probes are actually going to run. Look, the buildings down here at the bottom right are going to be sort of the Hail Mary for Krystianer. He's going to try and keep his probes alive and move down to his new shiny base at the, 2 o'clock point. This game has gotten very weird very quickly. The longer it goes, the better it is for Krystianer, because he's mining. He's got gateways again. He's going to be making units. ShoWTimE will never make another unit.
No, he will not. And Krystianer, importantly, can afford to warp in 1 Archon right here.
That's so big.
Man, I cannot overstate how much Krystianer didn't need to rush that engagement into the main base. He sent in 4 Zealots, then his Stalkers, then 3 more Zealots behind that. He could have had everything together, and it would have gone so much better for him.
That's another thing is the army supply. Some of that is taken up by the Prism, which is going to be a good blink mobile, but that's all it's going to be. It is now time, as Kev would say, to send it. It is time for Krystianer to hold, finally. He needs to pull the probes. He wins with probes. Just pull the probes. Your opponent has none.
That would absolutely be the play right now. Even a shield battery, but he doesn't have a cybernetics core, I don't think.
No.
So he can't. Oh, he does get a stalker right there. There's nothing that actually fights these zealots very effectively. It's just the Archon, and it's very low on shields. More zealots being warped in. This is so tense right now. Army supplies are even.
Oh, that charge!
The charge. It connects on one of those stalkers. Will he be able to take it out? Oh, he falls into the warp prism, but he loses another stalker.
Army supplies even. Upgrades still favoring Krystianer, who's warping in more and more zealots. It's all he can afford to do. Don't send your zealots that way! Oh no, 2 zealots not in the fight. That is not good at all. But there is still enough here on the ground. This one Archon, this hero Archon here for Krystianer is doing so much work because the Archon of ShoWTimE has no shields. That is going to be a GG up 6 City. Krystianer takes a 2.